Okay, guys, welcome to today's show. Some of us are on location, Jim.
Am I? I thought this was just normal work.
That's for you, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. Is the expectations and where your expectations take you, and where you are in the beginning, and what your expectations of where you want to be are going to take you on a beat somewhere. The Wealth Creation Show. So we do talk about building wealth quite a lot, but I think what I want to cover today is more about the costs involved with building wealth. And to run with a simple but I think powerful topic is expectations. There is expectations that come to every angle of your journey, and that goes way back to in the beginning. It's not just that expectation you have of yourself. It's expectations that are placed on you by other people along the way, and that goes right back to childhood, from your parents, and through your working life and things as well. Because
you could do a whole complete show on that, my expectations from my mother.
and they have such a profound effect on you as you go through life. You like the expectations from other people. I think when we talk about wealth, I think the truth is as well that wealth, although money is a big part of it, it isn't just about building money. It's built on the navigating pressures, I think, and the doubt and the support and sometimes that resistance that you get from other people's expectations of you and things as well. Would you say the expectations of you in the beginning, Jim, when you started your journey, do you think that had an effect on how quickly you were successful, or how it kind of maybe held you back a bit in things that you should have been going forward?
I think the biggest thing that held me back was status.
Mm-hmm.
It's the expectations of your parents and the peer group round about you, or the supposed peer group round about you. The people that just want you to be just like them and not get any more than them, but just be like them. That's probably the expectations that I was surrounded by, and things like, oh, well, you wouldn't do that. I remember, I've told this story before, but I think it's important to tell it again and again and again and keep going on about this. It's like, I remember when I took a wee sabbatical between my jobs as an accountant, and I was, I think it was from Alba Diagnostics as a financial director I ended up at ESA Macintosh after that, I think. Or was it Brand Rex? Can't remember. Anyway, what happened was I took a wee sabbatical. I needed to help my brother out because he was having a hard time in the business, in the cleaning business. The window cleaning business, actually. And I was down the high street cleaning windows, and someone walked past me from... Actually, the estate agency we own now, someone at work here that actually walked past me, and said, "Oh wow, you've not fallen that far that you've had to go and clean windows, have you?" And I kind of thought to myself, really? Is that a thing about being? It's like I couldn't get that out of my head how that was, but that's how we were all conditioned when we were younger. It's about getting a really safe, secure job, buying your own house, getting married, having children, and that's it, really. Just work all the time. That's kind of the expectation.
And that was the expectation, yeah.
And be the best at everything you can do. That's really what my mum was like. You had to be best at everything, so she could brag to everybody. So that was a real high expectation put on me. So when I was homeless, unemployed, through no fault of my own, and then I ended up going back to college to do my national certificate in business computer studies. And then I did accountancy, and then I excelled in that, and I excelled in the accountants exams. It was like I was on a track to becoming a financial accountant, a financial director. Eventually, that was my goal, ultimately. But it took a lot of effort for me to let go of that. that status symbol, because I know, a lot of people around about me. I remember actually somebody vividly saying to me one night at a disco, it said, was really surprised that he never got off with a speeding ticket because he was now a chartered accountant.
So
I'm like, what?
Would exempt him from it, yeah.
Honestly, well, that's what it was, your status. It's like, as if somehow that should give you some anonymity about, whether you should be prosecuted or no for anything. I still know that guy today, yeah. And he runs about in a second-hand Ferrari, believe it or not, with his actual nickname on the plate. So I was really surprised one night when I bumped into him and we were having this conversation. We'd had a few drinks, obviously, and then he came out with that, and I was like, "All right, okay, is that a thing then? Maybe I'll get that then when I become an accountant." So the status holds a lot of people back because they've reached a certain level in their career, and the people around about them expect them to be like that, and they don't want to take a step back because it'll make them look bad in front of the people that are supposed to be their peers. But in actual fact, these people should be the ones championing them and saying, go for it, and start your own business, or go and take that step back and do some other career or something like that. Whereas other people are like, I vividly remember when I was leaving Tillis Russell and handed in my notice, one of the guys who's actually quite a high profile counsellor, I think he's retired now from being a counsellor, an actual counsellor for the local authority. He said to me, "Oh, you're going to regret this. It's like you've got a really safe, secure job here." And I'm like, "No, I don't think I will." But he didn't realise I was actually walking into a job. It was double the pay I was getting there just now, and I was getting a company car as well thrown in, and free petrol, and a free mobile phone, and free healthcare. And it's like, okay, I'm going to regret that, really?
Yeah.
But he didn't understand that because I was just a section leader to him, whereas I was jumping into a financial controller's job and helping the management. I went into a management position straight from that section leader position. And I think it's because I had demonstrated clearly to the PLC company, the financial director of the PLC, who was interviewing me at the time with the managing director of the subsidiary, that I'm capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just all about status, was a big thing, and it still is to a lot of people. I know a lot of people that won't get involved in buy to let. Yeah, I know a lot of people that won't get involved in buy to let because of that, because it holds them back, as if they shouldn't be doing that. I don't know why. It's weird, absolutely weird.
Yeah, and obviously status and your title and what you do and what you've got is such a big thing, and you see it all over social media and things as well. And in smaller areas,
a big thing.
Yeah, but also still like in smaller towns and things like where we live, and it's quite a small circle. We're not staying in big cities here, so people know and look at other people, and you want, and a status thing is a very big thing still in the smaller community. Yeah,
definitely. But status doesn't pay the bills, does it? And status doesn't get you this. I'll show you, look. That's where I'm looking. That's Atlantic. And there's the beach that no one else is on. Because they're all at work.
They're all at work,
because they had too much. They had too much status that they wouldn't do what I was doing at the time. So when they all got the same opportunities that I got, they all got the same opportunities that I got, and that's kind of what held them back, their status.
Do you think as well, you mentioned about the expectations, things like for your mum and always be the best. And it's fair to say, obviously, whether it's been your accountancy or your businesses or your buy-to-let, or even when you're like your fitness journey and things, you've always been quite successful and had a lot of success in all these realms. Do you think that's because you've got that in the back of your head all the time still from, always be the best and always be the best that you can when you do something?
No. That I think that a lot of that actually, it maybe helped him a bit, but in the beginning, but it held me back quite a lot from doing the things that I should be doing because it was uncomfortable, because I'd never done them before, because it was things I was needing to do. and I was just in a different comfort zone, or very uncomfortable about what I was doing. But the great thing about being uncomfortable when you do something is you know you're growing, you know you're getting somewhere, and you're doing something different. And I think that's the most important thing. If you're totally comfortable with what you're doing all the time, you've probably got you've probably got an opportunity to grow outside of that then. And if you don't grow outside of that, then you're losing that opportunity. I would definitely say that.
Yeah. And when now I know obviously you talk about your experiences working in usually Macintosh and things and those kind of positions, but you started to do your side hustle, which was your buy-to-let portfolio. And I know you had a plan, but obviously for people watching and listening, what was it? Do you know when you first decided to pursue that kind of wealth? What was your plan? What were your expectations for that plan? You know, did you expect to have quite quick success, or was it ultimately freedom, or was it respect from your peers and things or other people? Do you know what were the catalysts for that?
Well, I'll take you back before that and the failures that I had before that, and involved in network marketing, which was the Amway business. International Business Systems ran alongside it, and the purpose of that was to teach you how to run a small business and how to communicate with people and how to work in all different areas. And acquire skills that you've never probably acquired before. You had mentors, you had books, you had tapes, which is podcasts nowadays, and then you had your functions as well, which was the four wheels on the car, so to speak. And the superhighway had been created by all the people that had come before. So it was a pattern for success that you were actually able to follow to help you build a business in a similar environment. But it was literally selling soap powder to people, door to door, stuff like that, and building a wee network of people that would buy fast consumable goods off you, like soap powder, soap liquid, beauty products, all these different things. And that's what I talked about status. This is how I got over it, because I started doing these things because I built my dreams so big that I thought, I can't fail at this. And if I do, I'll just go and repeat it. I'll learn loads and loads of lessons to succeed on something else. So it was that it started me off in the beginning, but luckily enough, that's when I met all my mentors that actually accelerated me and helped me evolve into where I am today. Because they weren't involved in buy-to-let, and I was just looking at that at the time, and the skills that I acquired from there, from all the people I'd spoken to, and all the networks I'd been involved in, and all the peer groups I'd been involved in, and the leadership I'd been involved in, taught me all the skills I needed to get out of my comfort zone and actually take that first step to buy-to-let.
Yeah, and do you know what, you said that you had built your dreams so big, and when you look back at it now, you think, well, it wasn't ever achievable at that level, but you got quite far, obviously, with that as your goal, although it was maybe a really big goal.
Who would expect to be a financial director before they're 30, from a standing start, homeless, unemployed, and then who would expect to retire before they're 40 and be a millionaire by the time they retire at 65 or whatever that age was at the time?
Yeah.
And that was that was the goals I had, and it was everything else that just kept me driving towards it. And my kids were so important to me, my wife was so important to me, and sometimes, you know, they could be their biggest cheerleader, and sometimes they can't be, but you know why you're doing it, because you've got a plan, and you set out your plan as I'd been taught, and you work your plan. And it's literally inevitable. This is why I keep saying about buy-to-let. It's like all you need to do is hang around long enough and learn so much that eventually at some point in time you'll go, okay, I could do this. And then you understand it's like, this is all about just being patient and waiting for the right opportunities to appear. And not actually running in and just try to do things straight away because you think it's a race for everybody else. It's not a race, ultimately. It's just you working with you. You're not racing against anybody else. You're not wanting to be better than anybody else. You don't want to be bigger than anyone else. And that's what people think when they go to these functions they kind of think they rub it all off on them about the fact that you should do this quick and you should scale quick and you should get this and you should get that and this will stand you good stead. And it's like, that's how they end up burning them out, because they're working a job at the same time. And some of them are like, oh, I need to give up my job. It's like, you're kidding. What, you're going to give it a safe, secure job? But I hate my boss. And it's like, all of a sudden you hate your boss. And yet before you'd seen this opportunity, you never hated your boss at all and you loved your job. And all of a sudden you hate your job and you hate your boss. And it's like, where did that come from?
There's a reason, yeah.
Honestly. And sometimes we were the best people in the world to help them understand it's to work your job. Do what you need to do in your job, but also build your side hustle at the same time. So you've got the income day to day all the time. You don't need to worry about that. And then you've got the side hustle that builds over time, and you don't actually take anything out of that, and you just keep putting it in, and it's kind of like a fund.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And for me, I'm a big fan of that because that's what I did. And then I got to a point, and quickly in the beginning of the 2000s. Where the market grew so quick, I was able to release cash and I was able to buy more just before the credit crunch, and I was able to sell some as well, and that's where I ended up buying my place in Spain, which is here.
Yeah.
Because I sold some and made a lot of money doing that, and and so that's what set me on my way. And I had a spreadsheet written down. I'd actually written down by hand about how it was all calculated. And if I buy one unit this year and it makes that amount, I could buy another unit this year, it'll make that amount. I could buy another unit this year with that income, it'll make that amount. And in 4 years' time, I could buy another unit on top of the other unit I'd buy. So I'd buy 2 units, and then it scales up, and it becomes exponential. It doesn't become like 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5 every year. It becomes 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. To 64 to 128 to 256 to and the next minute, the next minute after about 16 years you're on after 31 years you're on 11 million. It's like 11 million. It's like that's unbelievable, but you don't actually see that because you just get too close to everything that you're doing and you get involved in the minutiae. This is the difficulty about people self-managing. They get involved in the minutiae, and the amount of times I see on forums just now, people involved in that saying it's the best thing they ever did was leave the market. And I'm like, you'll regret that in years to come.
Yeah.
Because
if they had an agent dealing with all the stressful and time consuming stuff, they wouldn't feel like that. That's
plus the fact because they're in the minutiae, they lose sight of their dream.
Yeah.
And the work becomes a bigger obstacle than the actual dream they thought in the first place. And they just forget all about their dream, and it disappears before them, and they lose sight of it completely. And that's why they end up just quitting and selling up and going back to something else. Hey, by the way, if you're quitting and selling up, give me a shout. I might buy your stock. Because I'll tell you what, I don't think anything will come close to what this is in terms of appreciation over the years.
You're absolutely right, and I've got it here, and you've not got that in front of you, but my notes here, and it's a lot of people quit, and it's not because they fail, it's because the reality doesn't match the timeline of what they imagined, and it's because they're too involved in, like you say, the minutiae thing.
They become frustrated. That's why when, I think it was Will Mallard, I think it said on his post the other night, for the people I've got 10 plus years experience, what would you recommend for somebody starting out? And my comment was, be patient. Yeah, it's not a race.
Have the patience.
And it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's only a matter of time before you become even more successful when the right opportunities appear for you. But there's frustration because a lot of people get involved in these courses. They get around the wrong people, and they keep encouraging them to buy anything and everything to get them up to scale as quick as possible, in order to keep buying their courses. Let's be honest, that's what it's about for them. So that's why they're doing it, because they want to sell them another course to get them involved in something else. And that's why you have, God, if I see another sourcer online, it's like everybody's a sourcer. And that tells me straight away you're skint. Because as soon as you say you're a sourcer, that means you've no money. That's why you're sourcing, because you can't buy to let yourself, so you're having to do that. And it's like, why not just go and get a job? And get a steady job and instead of actually putting you through all that turmoil and all the rest of it, get a steady job, work that job, life to life. That's your day-to-day living. Your lifestyle is built by what you're doing inside that. Yeah. Don't throw everything in. Don't throw that towel in completely. It's like people think they have to go through a real hardship in order to succeed. I've got to make it really difficult for myself because that's what the books say. Well, I tell you what, in hindsight,
You went a wee bit.
And that was ultimately it.
Yeah. Lost you for a wee second there, but you did talk about, we were talking about the area about your journey, about how things went from a point, and then you see obviously then you start to get 2 properties and it goes up and up, and then and all of a sudden you're at this point. I mean, you see, it's fair to say the moment you start building something that's quite big, a lot of people around you, they start to look and watch you differently because you're doing something quite big and different. Do you think that people look at you different or not treat you different, or watch differently?
Some people get infused, very few, about 5% of the people round about you. That's the 5% group. They're excited. They're wanting to get involved as well. But 95% just want you to be ordinary like them. And ordinary's all right. I mean, my upline used to say to me, and my mentors used to say to me, well, Jim, at the end of the day, somebody has to wash your car. It's like, if you don't want to do it yourself, do you? And I went, well, no, really. He says, well, that's why you make money, in order to pay somebody to do it for you. And they're quite happy doing that. And yeah, more power to them. If they have a great life and they enjoy that, and that's what they want to do, fair enough. I just want, I don't necessarily want more, but I want to experience the journey. I think that's the most important thing for me. It's not about more. It's like, because when you've got enough, I mean, how much is enough? Enough. I've got enough. I don't need any more, but I just love the journey, and I love just keeping doing it and keeping learning. And you know, the one thing I'm learning about just now is transcendence. It's Ray Kurzweil of Google and Terry Grossman, are huge scientists in the scientist world, and they've written a book about how in the future, when you get to about 2040, they reckon when we get to 2040, you could probably live forever by the technology that they'll have available to rejuvenate your whole body.
Yeah. See, that's what, and there's. I mean, you learn about a lot of different things over. Do you know things that people think? Well, what's that got to do with creating wealth and building wealth? But it's all about building your knowledge in order to be a better person and able to do what you want to do.
Yeah. I think it's also expanding your mind. I think that's the most important thing for a lot of people. You should always continue to learn. And I think that's the best thing I get. I find it hilarious sometimes when I make a comment and you get the odd person that turns around and says, well, what do you know? You're just an estate agent. And I'm like, Sonny, what I've forgotten isn't anywhere near what you actually know yourself.
Yeah, and that's obviously people always chime in and they don't know the full story, and social media is so bad for that because they could chip in and it's like you don't even know the person behind it.
I just find it funny. And then you've got the other people that have to punch down on other people just to make them feel important. You know, that's the other classics. You know, the keyboard warriors. They have to say something else. You say something positive and they've got to say something on top of it and put that message down for them to stand up and you know, move higher. And it's like, really? You've got to put somebody down to actually raise yourself. That's no success.
No. And if we come back to, I mean, I'm going to talk about, like, I've got here, like, the inner circle when it comes to expectations and things. When you start to build something big and successful, you know, sometimes the closest people to you will kind of maybe push you to try and play it safe and not take as much risks. But then we've spoke a lot about risks in the past. As long as you've planned for every eventuality, then it's taking risks, yes, but it's taking educated risks.
Yeah, I do remember my mum and dad sitting down one time when I says, I can't remember, I says, I'm leaving the house because obviously my brother and I fell out. He was working in the business as well, and it was a big fallout, like really bad. I mean, we've got other podcasts that tell this story.
Yeah.
And I had to say to them, look, I'm going to have to leave tonight, the house, and just basically be homeless, unemployed, and leave the business as well. And, oh, you're making a big mistake. And it's like, but I knew where I was going. I knew where I was going to go next. Yeah, I don't think I had it planned. I think I just had faith that I would be able to do something else. I mean, I had applied for other jobs before, even as a cleaner, and I got accepted in the hydro and Pitlochry and stuff like that. I never ever went. But I knew straight away I could get accepted anywhere else as a cleaner. And that was before I'd started anything else in further education, or even been for the RAF at that time. So I knew that there was other opportunities out there. I just had faith. I think it was because Elaine was with me at that time. You know, it was that I just met Elaine, and I just felt that the both of us would conquer the world together. Yeah. And so that gave me faith, because I had someone else on my side. Plus the fact Elaine was working, so it was great.
And the thing is as well, like you said about that, like, because you were involved in your dad's business, and I knew it like the back of your hand. So when you applied for any other similar jobs, of course you were 9 times out of 10 going to get it. So then that kind of proves to yourself, as long as I could make myself the best in whatever sector, then if I could get to that point, then I'm not have a problem acquiring a job, because I mean they're not going to turn somebody away that could do it so well.
Yeah, it's just and I think that's something the younger generation don't understand. They don't understand their skills, or if they've got skills, then they are desirable, and they are a value add to a company. And I think it's a lot to do with confidence levels in the younger generation that holds them back. But that comes with experience, and that comes with age, wisdom. It's like the old example about, youth is wasted on the youth.
Yeah, but then they don't know what they don't know, and they will eventually.
Yeah, and you're right. They don't know what they don't know, and well, do they really have faith in themselves? I think that's a lot to do with it. Because remember, we're all told it when we're younger. It's like, what makes you think you're so special? That's no for the likes of us. We're all together, getting absolutely plastered in the pub or down at the football. And as soon as you try to get out of that rank, because you decide that the football's not as important as building your future, as soon as you start to leave that rank, then it becomes like the crabs in the bucket. They then start to, when you start to climb out, the other crabs will pull you back down, and they don't want you to leave the bucket. To the point some of them would actually try and kill you to stop you leaving the bucket. And there was people like that. I can't even remember who these people are now, to be honest. My mentors used to send people like that postcards, but they used to send them just quarter of the postcard. So they used to cut out a quarter of the postcard and send it to them and just write, clearly you didn't get the bigger picture. Because they used to be horrible to them. They used to tell other people that they were bad people, and they were just trying to deceive other people, and yet they weren't at all. They were genuinely trying to help people build a future for themselves, because they equally shared in that future as well. And why not? So they teach them to make £1,000 a month extra outside of what they're doing, and they get 100 quid for it for doing that every month. And if they teach 12 people to do that, then they're on 1,200 quid a month for teaching 12 people. But 12 people are each earning £1,000 a month each. They never had before.
Yeah.
And some people actually say, "Oh, that's pyramid selling." No, it's no.
It's not.
Does that know how a company works? We employ people and we make a profit on their efforts. That's it.
Yeah, and that's where, these types of people, and it also kind of, it does relate sometimes with people closest to you when you're trying to do something and build something quite big. Sometimes they don't understand the journey, and that's the problem, or they don't get the bigger picture, like you say. And unfortunately, sometimes people like that, their expectations could sometimes anchor somebody where they are and stop them from being successful, or if you've got the right attitude, you could look at it and think, no, this is what I'm doing, and I could do this, and it actually accelerates you to be able to get further on with your journey.
Yeah.
But
look at the amount of people we've spoken to over the years who were dead adamant that they were going to get involved in buy-to-let and get involved in investing in property. And then we would give them one-to-ones, we'd sit down with them, we'd tell them what they need to do. And are they here today? No.
All the people over the years, I've only got a handful that I've got.
Yeah, because they didn't believe in themselves. It works, but they didn't think it would work for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it works 100% of the time for 100% of the people that work it. Like anything does.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The expectation thing as well, I think I've got a section here that I want to talk about, and it's like when sometimes there's a bit of a shift in people, and I've noticed that, and it's when their expectations and their mindset changes. You know, they get to that point where they started to get results, they started building momentum, and then suddenly things change, and it's their expectation and their journey's changed slightly because maybe the shiny penny thing, or they get distracted, or they're trying to maintain some sort of image, and it takes them away from what they first set out to do, and then that's when their path starts to lead off in different directions, and their success isn't as successful as what they could have been.
Well, I had a really switched on guy, very educated, understands salesmanship and all the rest of it. He was good at what he did. He had his Range Rover Evoque or whatever it is, £30,000 worth, and it was all paid for in cash. And I came to the conclusion one day, and I said to him, "You're going to have to sell that because that's holding you back." And he went, "What do you mean?" I says, "It's the status revolved around it. When you turn up to the golf, you turn up in your Range Rover, and everybody looks at you and thinks, 'Oh, look at him, he's so successful.' But I know deep down that you're not that successful at all. And you won't let that image go and actually to allow yourself to become successful in the first place. So that is going to end up being your defining moment where that's going to hold you back completely. So that you need to sell it. You can take the cash, you can buy your first property, and then that's your start of your future, your financial future to come. Oh, but I'm going to have to turn up. And he made a joke about having to turn up in a Citroen C3 or something like that. And I went, well, what's wrong with that? Because I've got a Citroen C3 I run about in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of us is a multi-millionaire. so it's like I think there's clues there.
Mm-hmm. And it does really hold people back. It definitely does. And they think that's what I'm saying, the shift thing, because they get that taste of a little bit of success and a little bit of momentum and money coming in, and then think, right, let's just and they do it all wrong and then start to spend, and that's where things go wrong.
Yeah, that's what they do. They have this reward thing, and I'll be honest, I was never a fan of it. I was always told, "Oh, give yourself small rewards when you reach goals and stuff like that." And I'm like, I don't need rewards. Because if I go out and spend that money on getting a new car or moving house or buying an Armani suit or something, because these were all things I wanted. I wanted an Armani suit and everything. I've still not got one today. I've still not got one at all. And I still actually keep thinking about it. Let's go for suits to Edinburgh or something. And it's always in the back of my mind. And I mean, we're talking about 40 years on, and I've still not done it. Yeah. And do I really need to do it? No. But they used to say that, and I'm like, no, I could take that money and actually reinvest it and actually make more money on that money. But everybody keeps saying it's like, oh, well, but when's enough? It's like, well, now is enough. I'm not complaining now.
Now is enough, but you still wouldn't go and buy an Armani suit.
Yeah, but the classic is, see, once you can afford it, you don't want it anymore. Or that's what I find. I could go and buy a Lamborghini Huracan, but it's like, I wouldn't do it now. But I could buy it for cash if I wanted to.
And even just think, even like the simple, like the things like a suit. I mean, you could go and buy an Armani suit, of course you can, but you don't feel the need or the pressure from other people to do it as a status thing, or to look.
I don't need anybody else's validation.
Yes,
I think that's key here. And you see that all the time on social media, where people have to constantly post pictures of themselves with keys to properties and this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, because they need people to keep encouraging them and tell them they're doing the right thing and all the rest of it. And it's like, I've got a spreadsheet that tells me the numbers and I know I'm doing the right thing. And it's great to get the validation from someone else, but I don't purposely go out to do things like that anymore. I've never really been a show person, and showing off what I'm doing. I like to tell people what I'm doing because I like to see if they'll want to do it as well. Because, well, you've got it here. It's like there's nobody on this beach.
Mm-hmm.
You need other people to retire early, financially free, so they can come and join you.
Yeah. And when we talk about these things like the image and the status, these are all like silent pressures from the unspoken expectations that sometimes a lot of people don't like to speak about and say out loud. Because, really, that's trying to succeed, or feeling the need to succeed because other people are watching you, or other people you're going to need the validation for everybody else. That's a mindset you need to change.
It really is a big thing for a lot of people. But then you've got to get out of that comfort zone. But Jeff Bezos left his job and ended up going to work in his garage selling books and thinking this was a great idea. If you've ever seen his story, you look at how many people thought he was nuts. Look at how many people thought Walt Disney was nuts. His family wanted to section him and put him in a mental institution because he wanted to build a big park for a mouse.
Yeah, and look at it now.
Yeah. He had vision. That's the thing. Look at the amount of people that probably told Edison to give up after his 1000th attempt. He did over 1,000 times in trials to try and get the light bulb to work. And over 1,000 times. Would you not just give up after that? And it's like, no, he never gave up.
And if he had given up on the 999th time, somebody else would have picked it up and done it, and he would have lost out on the recognition for what he'd done. Well,
I've got a funny feeling that somebody else maybe did it as well, but it just so happens he's the one that goes down in the history books.
Because he done all the legwork.
It's just like everybody talks about Alexander Graham Bell with the telephone, and Alexander Fleming with penicillin. All these different people. I mean, somebody somewhere else in the world probably had that idea at the same time as well. It just so happened they patented it and they got the recognition for it. And that's where Bell, what was it, Bell, the telephone company in America came from, Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah, and then just when I'm talking about these kinds of silent pressures and things, I was going to say that, as opposed to these pressures from other people and expectations from other people, there's responsibilities that sometimes push people to want to be successful, and responsibility for giving your family a better life and giving yourself a better lifestyle, or if you're maybe heavily involved in community and things like you do a lot with local community and things, Jim, as well, and you like to give back, and that's all you're able to do that because of your own success. And these are kind of silent, I wouldn't say pressures, but drivers, family and lifestyle and community. These are all good things they're positive things to start trying to build something and be successful on, rather than status and pressures from other people for the look what I've got, basically.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a lot of drivers. The biggest driver for me is I used to sit and watch Secret Millionaire in the early 2000s, and I used to watch all these guys going in and women going in as well and helping these communities, and all of a sudden saying, there you go, I'm going to give you a check for so-and-so to help out your fund because I know you're needing it. And they're in tears, and I'm in tears with them at the same time watching the telly. And I thought, God, what a feeling to be able to do that. What a feeling to be able to do that. And that was a huge driver for me. So these were all huge drivers for me. But more importantly, the other one was, it's like if your kids ever want to do anything, or if anybody in your family falls ill, not to have the money to be able to do anything about it. If they want to go to further education, it's like, well, sorry, we can't afford to send you to university. We can't afford to pay your fees. We can't afford to give you any money because, and the thing that struck for me was because I spent all my time at the pub playing pool or darts, or I wasn't doing what I was meant to do, and set that example as far as I'm concerned, for me, an example is that's what a parent should be doing, building a future for their children. and no just saying, well, it's up to you. I've had you, so it's up to you. Make your way from now on. Eh? What? It's the whole thing about now you're 16-year-old. Right, out you go. Time to leave. It's like, what? What do you mean time to leave? It's like that doesn't compute with me.
Yeah, and you're setting that example. Like, I mean, children will lead by example. And if you think about what you're doing, you think, do you really want that to be the example and for your children to follow? And a lot of the time, it's not.
No, I know what I was like when I was. I don't drink anymore. I've no. God, it's like way over 10 years now. I would imagine. It's just I gave up years ago, and I realised how toxic it was for me personally, and how I was using it in more or less a medicinal purpose for stress. And
like
that's not a
mechanism type thing.
Yeah, it's not a healthy thing to do. It's like, oh, I'm really stressed. Let's reach for a drink, and that's what I see most people do. The wine o'clock famous thing, for people. Yeah. Oh, it's wine o'clock. Oh, it's somewhere. It's wine o'clock in the world, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, but see how everybody joins in and they all validate it by liking and all the rest of it. And to me, it's like you're just becoming one of the normal people. And yeah, if you want to be a normal, then crack on. If that makes you happy, then great. But then when you get to this later on in life, and your kids have grown up and they need help in something, and they maybe need to buy their first house, have you got the money to do it and help them? No, because you decided not to do anything for the future. You decided to just live in the moment and spend everything you had without investing in anything for the future or for your children's future. Why would you have children if you're not going to help them for the future?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And then not even that. A lot of people, they just put it aside and don't think about their own future and their children, because they think, oh, that's a long time away. It comes around fast. I mean, I'm not speaking for experience. I know that.
It does come around fast. I tell you what, I keep thinking, really, I'm 60-year-old this year, and I'm running London Marathon this week.
Yeah, that's good.
This weekend, London Marathon, here we come. And it's like, oh my God, I'm 60-year-old, and I'm still. I never had anybody like that when I was growing up. It was running marathons. The only people like that was Olympians on the telly. Steve Ovett,
trained for a long time,
Steve Ovett and Sebastian Coe, they were real rivals in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters. But when you look at that and you think to yourself, God, they were so young at that time, and we used to watch them on Superstars. You'll not know what that is, but it was a game show for athletes, and they did all different athletic things, and Jeff Cates as well was in it. And all these different Olympians were competing in it, and it was fantastic. And that for me probably was an example of that sounds good. Plus the fact I didn't like rugby. It was a contact sport. I wasn't a big fan of it, you see, and because I was just I'm just a wee Mr. Puniverse. So contact sport for rugby, I'm not going to do that. I tell you what else can I do? Cross country running. That's what I used to do at school. It was either you did football, I'm not after the end of it, and all running. And it's like, let's go for cross country running. So me and my brother used to run all the time when we were younger.
Yeah. I mean that's where you need to find your niche in whatever you do. Some people are better at other things than others, and that's fine. But you find something that you're good at and run, and pardon the pun, run with it.
I think it's just been. I think it's just you being you. Be true to yourself. Be the person you should be, and not the person everybody else wants you to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, there's a lot of expectations there. That aren't, and along your journey and anybody's journey, that aren't spoken, but you feel them really deeply. And the ones that are unspoken are the ones that you probably do feel, and they're often the ones that are the kind of heaviest ones to carry. But you need to think about where they're coming from, and are they socially influenced, or are they something that's more deep rooted and meaningful to you, like your family and things as well. Don't let things influence you and have an impact on you when they really matter. I think you need to think about that when I talk about these silent kind of expectations and pressures. I also think the next point I was going to talk about was redefining expectations, and then really thinking about where the expectations are coming from and what. I'll get rid of that one. You just switch camera there.
No, I pressed the wrong button. I'm sitting with a mobile phone on the beach. It's like I had to be crossing the corner. Whoa, what's going on?
No, that's fine. I was just rounding up about the silent pressures and expectations, and how some expectations, even though they're not spoken, they're felt really deeply with people, and often that's the heaviest ones. There's social influence and things, but you need to define whether block them out because they're not important, and think about these other things like your family and other things that are important, and use them as the drivers, and basically redefine expectations as well, because some expectations that you have being put on you are the ones that you need to try and move away from, and set your own expectations and think about what you expect from yourself and what you could achieve. I think setting your own expectations rather than inheriting ones from other people is a really important thing.
You can inherit them from other people as long as other people are more successful than you.
Yeah,
it's the one thing I was taught. It's the one thing I was taught from my mentors, right? The one thing they used to tell me every single time, and it was wrapped up in a joke. You used to get calls from people that are wealth managers all the time. Oh, we can help you with your wealth. We can do this for you. We can do that for you. We can develop all that wealth through that. And then their standard joke they used to say every time. The response they would say every single time to these people is, I tell you what, I'll write down my wealth, my net worth, and you write down your net worth. And if you're worth more than me, I'll listen to what your advice is.
Yeah.
Because how on earth could anybody teach you what to do and how to be wealthier than you, wealthier than them, if they're not as wealthy as you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's like I don't want what they've got. I don't want their job. I don't want their lifestyle because they don't have what I have. And so why would I listen to them then? And so it was a joke. It was a standard joke with my mentors because they were like, I mean, Bernard D'Souza was retired at 25 years old, financially free, and I was like, what? You're younger than me, and I'm still working. This is mental. So what are you doing that I'm not? And that's why I would listen to him.
Yeah, you made a good point there as well. It's like, if somebody is more successful than you, then you need to be thinking about, right, what are they doing that I'm not, that I could learn how to do in order to make myself more successful in what I'm doing.
It's so important. That's why it's not about getting around people that are just like you. It's probably getting around people that are just a bit better than you,
a bit further on than you,
so wealthier. Yeah, because when they're wealthier, it obviously makes for you. Definitely, I think that's the key here. It's wealth.
Yeah, and it's all about, like I said, about what do you expect of yourself, and then looking at, if you're building wealth, it isn't just about meeting other people's expectations. It's about choosing the right ones for you. So, yeah, and then I think just to start rounding up for today, and obviously talking about expectations and other influences, I think as well, it's kind of who we've kind of graduated into the influence that the people around you have and your environment has on you. I think, for one thing, I think for people to take today is expectations or influence can build you, or they could break you if you let them. Yeah. So be quite intentional with what you're doing, about the expectations that you actually accept and the ones that you choose to reject as well. And then the ones that you place for yourself, because you have your own expectations and you have other people. Because in the end, really, wealth isn't about really what you earn. It's about who you become while while everyone is watching. And I think you'll stand testament to that, Jim. money is a
No one else is
byproduct
going to bail you out. Put it that way.
Mhm.
If anybody starts to criticise you, you just turn around to them and say, "Well, if anything goes wrong, are you going to bail me out?" Because they're telling you what to do. That's the first thing you should say when you've got people trying to sell you a course. Okay, so you're going to guarantee me this is going to be successful, or my money back? Are you going to give me all my money back if I'm not successful in that? And that's the sort of things you should.
You're never going to get the answer yes to that question.
Well, I'll tell you, if I was running a course, I would do that, and that's why I would never run a course, because I'd feel responsible for another person's laziness, effectively. Mm-hmm. So if they can't be bothered one morning because they've been out in the Raz and they're hungover and they need to do something and they don't do it, then it's clearly no my fault that they've done that. Mm-hmm. So I can't be responsible for what they do, and that's what a lot of these people that sell courses do. They blame on things like that, and ideally it probably is like that. But the key here is the first thing you should say if anybody criticises you, it's like, well, if anything happens, are you going to pay my bills? They're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's like, okay, so if anything happens then, and I don't do that, and anything happens, are you going to pay my bills? No. Well, shut up then. I would be as blunt as that. I've been as blunt as that with people before. Oh, I've heard people say, I would never want to win the lottery. I wouldn't want to be a millionaire. And I'm like, you tried it lately?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty good.
But then that goes back to probably the underlying thing in their mind is that they probably wouldn't know what to do with it properly.
Well, they don't think they would ever achieve it, you see, so they just dismiss it. Because if you know you can achieve it, then surely you're going to be in turmoil for the rest of your life if you don't. Yeah. Knowing full well that you could. Mm-hmm. So that's why you have that safety mechanism in your brain which tells you, yeah, it's okay, you're nice, just stay where you are, don't worry about it. And that's the amygdala. That's the caveman instinct. It works and it's never changed.
Yeah,
it's never changed over the years.
Yeah.
Of course. But it's designed to save you the embarrassment in your mind and not put too much pressure on you. So these are the things you've got to overcome. This is why reading the right books are so important. This is why listening to the right podcasts are so important. This is why working with the right mentors is so important. This is why attending the right functions is so important. The 4 wheels on the car are so important. I mean, if you've only got 3, you've got a Reliant Robin. You're not going to go as fast as a car with a Reliant Robin. And if you've only got 2, well, you've not really got a car now. You've got a bike.
You've got a bike, yeah.
Yeah, but you're missing 2 of the key inputs here that you should be getting in order to be successful. So just use the 4 of them and motor up that super highway. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because that was one of the things I was going to say. Just in the roundup, like what kind of things did you use to get to your journey, your goal through your journey, and overcome these negative expectations? And it's these things like reading and
transcendence. I've got it with me on the beach.
Yeah,
I've got my phone. I've got my speakers. I've got my podcast. I'm listening to Ivanka Trump just now. On Diary of a CEO, she's getting interviewed by Stephen Bartlett about her, she's no longer in politics anymore, but about her experiences and the tenacity and how she survives as a 44-year-old with children now, and a husband that's got I think he's got cancer. Mm-hmm. Again, it's come back. So it's like, how do you cope with that? And then a father that's obviously the president just now, who is a wee bit out there, but he never said that to her. And how did she cope with having somebody like that? And what was it like when they basically attempted assassination on them? How did you feel? All these different things. She's still got her grandmother, but she's not got her mother. Her mother died.
Yeah, that's right.
But her grandmother, which is her mother's mother, is actually still alive today. And how much an inspiration her mother was as a businesswoman. So what? And then you would think, well, why would you watch that? Because you never know what you can learn from that. This is a person that's been in political power, and also one of the most iconic families, I suppose, in the world, for good or bad. Part of that family. So what would you learn from that?
Yeah, because a lot of people might just write her off sometimes because of their views on Donald Trump, but really, How much could you learn
Yeah.
from a person that's in that position and been through what she's been through?
Yeah,
And being
absolutely.
as successful as she's been. Yeah.
So it's these wee sound bites that you can pick up over time. It will help you evolve and help you adapt and understand other people have gone through certain things that you're possibly going through right now. And it's like, okay, so this is normal. Because I used to be really anxious about different things when I was younger, and I used to, what will I do here? How will I ever be able to drive a car to Newport? How will I ever be able to drive a car to Dundee? I used to worry about that when I was about 6. How will I drive a car to Dundee? How will I know how to get there? How will I know how to drive the car? These are all things I used to worry about when I was younger. And then somebody came along one day when I was in my teens and went, don't worry, you set a test. You get taught lessons and everything. Oh, God. And here's me been worrying about it for the last 10 years as a kid.
Because you didn't know.
Yeah. So see the value in all these different lessons that you can learn from other people who have gone before you, or even come after you, that you can still learn from because you've never been in that sphere.
Yeah, and that's demonstrating the true value of knowledge. Once you have the knowledge for something, yeah, definitely.
And people say knowledge is power, but it's not really. Execution is power.
How you deliver yourself.
Yep, it's execution every single time. Done is better than perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, let's round up today. Expectations, and it can be the hidden kind of currency in your wealth creation journey. As I say, it could really build you up, or it can ultimately break you and take you right off track if you don't deal with it correctly and use it correctly in your journey. But I mean, I think if any of this kind of resonated with somebody today, then good. Hopefully you can tune in next time. We will do another topic next week. And Jim, you'll be back in the studio, I think, next week, as opposed to on the beach.
We'll be, yeah. I'll be just after the London Marathon. And
you'll be dead, after the marathon. So good luck for that. And we will all see you next time.
Bye for now.
See you then. Thanks. Bye.